Sorry,
I held on to the card for so long.
So I brought the earplugs. Not quite the same though.
All right, gang, let's move into game number 3. We've got a draft ready. We're not going to delay any longer. We've been holding you in suspense, and here it is.
Yeah.
That
Can't
sweet,
wait for
sweet
Warlock.
No, no Naga.
You can't
Warlock.
make jokes.
Can't make jokes?
You can't make jokes like that. People will think that we actually do delay the draft just to talk about stupid shit.
Oh.
There's not a lot of...
If only we had that power, Slex.
Alright, here we go. So Warlock not first picked, which means that EHOME will be now picking Warlock.
Hey, NP lost to the Drow Ranger last game. What better than to give EHOME a taste of their own medicine? Mary Poppins style.
Hey, yo, look at that. In the words of Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War, I'll take that.
Deep. Too deep for me, bro. Warlock Spirit Breaker, the opener here for EHOME once again. Running the Spirit Cow. And Witch Doctor for NP, a little more of the same here, gang.
Witch Doctor obviously a lot better with Drow Ranger on your team, especially early game harass.
Hell yeah, let's not discount that Drow Ranger level 1 right click. You buy yourself 2 Iron Branches, 2 Fairy Flies, and you're knocking at a total of 67 right click out of the gate, not even counting the Drow Ranger aura, which bumps you up to a 72 right click damage.
You gotta look out for those Fireflies.
Fairy Fires. Excuse me. Us pros call them Fireflies. It's easier to say.
The Slacks build, except it would be brown boots. He wouldn't have a wind lace, and that magic wand would probably be an Ironwood brand.
Yeah, 2 Ironwood Branches and 2 Fairy Fires. It's 76 damage, Bird.
You said 67.
That was before, after the Drow.
Then you said it was 72.
Post-mitigation.
You know
grant.
72 minus 67
Well,
is the same number
counting
of how
in-
many games you've guessed right in your entire career?
When you factor in armor grants. Jesus Christ.
Reduction. Yeah, I think they're doing a smart thing, banning out MSS heroes that can make a bigger impact on the game. I mean, Timbersaw can, but when they already had the Tinker, they're like, well, he's not going to make that big of an impact at that point, and it's fine.
I mean, go back to some of our very first panels with MP. Who did we note? MSS. That's the key player. He tends to perform very well, and when he does, he's hard to deal with. I totally agree.
That kid's got a pillar.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's also got an anime in his heart.
Oh, okay. Well, low-hanging fruit there, but I'll let you have it.
A Mandarin.
You guys are real jokers.
What up?
Pugna, third ban here from NP. Makes a lot of sense against the mighty EHOME, and now a fourth ban, OD.
OD.
So NP needs some heroes that can frontline. That's really important. Drow Ranger can hit towers, obviously, but they need someone that when the fight starts, it'll ideally interrupt Spirit Breaker. Or especially if Gus is on cooldown, they need someone just to initiate.
Yeah. OD obviously a good ban.
Yeah.
Benefits from the Drow, and we've seen obviously he can just put Spearbreaker on and put himself, put his ally under.
Dunk those golems.
Yeah, very smart.
Are we going to see a Bat Rider ban? That's the big one, I think.
Oh, I can't believe Bat Rider has made it.
I mean,
this far.
NP's got to be thinking about it right now.
This is ridiculous. A Darkseer? Really? Come on.
It's really good with Spirit Breaker. It can be, if you do a dual lane like that, sometimes you can just kill Drow on lane multiple times. And Witch Doctor's already a little weak against that because if they get past the creep wave and it's just Spirit Breaker, then your cast isn't going to bounce and it's an awful disable.
So why do you think they didn't ban it?
Because Pugna and Darkseer are more threatening. At least in terms of the laning.
Now, if you're just joining us for Game 3, you might be thinking, Pugna, how was that guy threatening? Well, you haven't been seeing EHOME, been running it all day. Incredible job there.
Yeah.
Late game, Pugna. They gotta get rid of that garbage. There's a man who knows to get rid of that garbage. Throw that stuff in the trash can, because I don't want it. Oh, let me tighten up these earphones so I don't have to hear this annoying kid.
SCG, he's actually really calm in person. Like, just extremely calm, to the point, says exactly what he wants to say, doesn't give you that BS.
Okay.
That was the productions. We have no idea who this man is, but it's SVG.
Okay,
Yes,
well,
there
we
we
can call them out.
I said it.
And just that was a lot.
Avery Silverman.
Be your last event here.
True.
I think production's doing great.
Oh, wow.
All right, wow, that's Bat Rider.
There's the Bat Rider.
Yeah, we were kind of saying,
Yeah. Works nicely with the Spirit Breaker too, right? A little bit of vision, a little bit of chase perhaps. Might help Bat Rider get into that perfect position for a lasso.
Yep.
Ain't too shabby.
I feel like if they get behind, I don't know what it is about SP Warlock and Batrider, but they're very cooldown reliant, and once they don't have their ultimates, they're much worse as heroes.
You might be seeing a lot of Midases on that team.
They're weak on damage right now as well. I mean, obviously, Batrider ulti is great and all.
Ooh.
Are NP looking at a Venge 4th pick now? The Drow Puck Venge?
What? Okay.
There's the
scary.
Oracle too. They really want.
Yeah, could you explain why it's nice here, but it didn't really work for EG when they picked the same thing, pretty much? Like the
they
Drow
were
Ranger Puck.
they were against a Nyx Assassin, I believe. Was the
Would you
first
say
thing he
that's
was winning
mostly the
against
main
them.
thing?
And also, EHOME right now is very mobility based. Spear Breaker plus Batrider. Just ulti those two guys, and it offsets that whole like front tank problem that I talked about. You don't need somebody to stand up and stop them from running at you, because the Puck ulti can do that. So as long as you initiate on the Batrider first with like an ulti or something, and he doesn't have BKB, then you should be able to start the fight in a good way.
Yeah, and they also have more stuns now. I mean, when Universe played Puck, didn't they have like 0 stuns? He would just coil and they'd instantly TP out, if I remember. And now with the
I
Witch
think
Doctor, it's
so,
actually a lot
yeah.
better already, yeah.
And if you have that Venge too, you might be able to go in towards that swap, not only for the lasso, but you can break the coil with it. We've seen a couple teams get pretty damn good at that too.
Yeah.
It would have to be a support Venge now, though.
Yeah, I think that's what it would be, for sure.
No doubt.
Super interesting hero.
Good work.
It's strange how he keeps getting Zet, I believe, Puck. I shouldn't say the genders.
Zed is the R coordinator.
Very
Except
good.
it.
I think Puck is a Zur.
Yeah, Zur. It's very interesting that Zur gets picked up with Drow Ranger all the time here, and I think is that kind of for that mobility, kind of that right click.
We forgot about that hero. That doesn't
Hey,
pick up at
Marvana,
all this
who
series.
that?
Bottom.
Reasonable deny pick from NP as well.
Do you
A
think
great
they're
middle.
gonna
If they
Oracle,
offlane Pucks.
SD? I feel like
For the side NP,
yeah.
the Rubik's still there for 1437 as well.
Knowing that they don't play support Venge that much, I think it's a little less likely. The Oracle has to be tempting here. I mean, we've seen the power of Marana plus Warlock, the Fatal Bonds with the Aghanim Scepter Starstorm. It's really dirty damage. So somebody that can help sustain through that, I think, would definitely be handy.
I mean, it would be Oracle plus Drow Ranger, so if he has more damage in lane, he's not as bad. 3-3.
Oh,
That's a good
the
pick. That would have been
opposite
banned for
I
sure.
forgot about that hero,
Yeah.
because they banned it second after the Drow got picked up last time, both games, I think.
This is it's such a good drafting position to be in for NP because they have multiple support options that are all pretty good. Both the Oracle, the Venge could work, and EHOME now has to be able to deal damage through Medusa, and she's also got Draw Aura. So normally she's just kind of gimped because her damage is mediocre, but now she gets a free 45 on top of whatever she has normally.
Yeah.
That's really
And now
useful.
they do have a kind of quote-unquote frontliner.
Yeah.
Star
Yeah,
open.
an
Very
excellent one at
almost ungankable if you're quick enough with that ult.
Yeah. So far, these EHOME heroes, none of them really great against Medusa. None of them conventional Dusa counters.
Yeah, they had to
And
Oracle
Fatal
ban
Bond is decent, but that's about it.
But, you know,
It's
no
always good.
diffusals,
Yeah.
no necro carriers, you know.
They ban out AM,
The
obviously,
obvious
they have
ones.
to pick.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
pretty much no question on that one, I'd say.
Brilliant. Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like Marana can pick up an easy diffusal blade and kind of go toe to toe. So
She doesn't
can.
attack fast enough, and then she has to buy eggs, and then she has to buy Blink Dagger. And then you have to worry about her not dying, so buying a diffuse blade at that point is a little iffy.
Yeah.
It's
If
not
it's super
terrible
late
this
game,
game,
not
but
a great solution, but possible.
there's a lot of
You're right.
silences. It's actually kind of okay this game, but
I think they have a lot of problems right now coming to this last position 1 now with the AM bando. Some of the other heroes that might synergize with their own heroes right now, like the Spirit Breaker and the Bat Rider, you'd be looking at that Lifestealer perhaps, but of course relatively useless against Medusa. It's
Why
very
not?
difficult to scale into the items to actually get through the mana shield.
why not more fun?
Why not more fun? No,
Why not?
Fair enough.
Why not indeed?
Don't disagree with that.
They already do enough magic damage. All their heroes do magic damage. Throw an E-Blade on there.
Yeah.
You
a
got
lot of options for NP. I feel like Disruptor could be an option also. Good team
Yeah.
fight, great against Marana, Bat Rider, and Spirit Breaker.
yeah, that's a great call.
They have so many places to go.
Yeah, there's a ton of options here.
Oh, wow.
A batted.
A classic.
The North American Special.
Yeah. Long forgotten about friend here.
Apodic Shield versus the Bat Rider and the Marana.
Yeah, but that, I mean, Abaddon, the shield cast is pretty
All right,
darn.
I'm gonna say
suck.
that the anti-disable is okay. I think it's really good against Marana Arrow because you usually buy your team when you
That's
get
good.
arrowed.
No, no,
For that reason, it's great. Against Bat Rider, iffy. Against Spirit Breaker, pretty good. And I like it heavily with the Drow combo, really. Because it's a hero, it's very similar as the game we saw earlier today with a Luna plus a Warlock. You take a hero that does good damage, but is a little bit low mobility and easy to kill, and you throw a heal and a shield on top of that hero, and it changes everything. And the coolest thing about this pick, you can remove Sticky Napalm in lane.
And
And there's the
Baltimore.
point. Not a big surprise there.
Great calls, Iori.
Great job.
Thank you.
I like the NP draft.
Yeah.
Actually,
I like them both. I like MPs a little more. I agree.
I think they're both relatively stable, despite being like a Drow lineup. It doesn't have to go for that big mega rush play. I think that's kind of what we expect game threes. You don't really go all in. You want a couple different options, a couple different timings that could succeed. And I don't think either team's really pigeonholed here.
But again, I think the ease of execution advantage goes to NP. It's a little more straightforward what they want to do.
Golly.
But, Slacks, I'll let you do your prediction first while
Come
Purge
to me
thinks about it.
last. I'm the
Okay,
the
Mod
cogs are
Packs, we'll
cooking.
start with you then.
All right. I think I'm going to go in for EHOME. I really do like the Sylar Morphling. Pick the Bat Rider. It's going to get things done. And it's going to make it difficult. The lane's going to kind of control the movements of the Abaddon. Perhaps in the early game, limit some of that experience.
10 seconds
I
remaining.
think I'm going to go with NP. I'm a little worried about the Bat Rider, though. I think
5
that
seconds
Lasso is going to be a big deal in this game.
Yeah, and I've been holding it back. Lily, know that North American bias, but NP.
Nope, I never knew.
I'm gonna go NP. I like the Abaddon. I like the Deusa. She's gonna drop a deuce.
Snake is a very scary person to try to back. She's a very greedy carry. I mean, will you have enough to be able to stop her? But at the same time, Morphling's the same way. It's all about which team is able to make the most space, which team can make the most space in the relative games that we've been seeing. If you add the three there, I think I'm going to have to go with MP.
All right, we'll see if our casters agree once more. It is Annie and Cap for our final game of the night.
Thank you very much, Zayori. I'm Android, being joined by Cap, and this is the final game here of the lower bracket. Winner moves on to the grand finals tomorrow at the Bell Center. Very exciting here. Cap, what do you make of these drafts?
Well, I think, I don't want to say it, but I think it just might be another draft win. I was hoping we were going to have it really close, but I personally lean pretty heavily in NP's side. I think it was a pretty brilliant drafting maneuver where they fourth picked up the Medusa alongside a Drow Ranger strat, something that we already saw all the way back in the Manila Major to be exceptionally strong. It really prolongs the strength of Drow Ranger strategies to much later into the game, while still maintaining a really good early game presence. And then they banned away the Anti-Mage, right? They're like, okay, we're instantly going to go to a ban after this pickup, so we pick up Deusa, we ban away the Anti-Mage. We know they have to pick up a carry, but with the Anti-Mage gone, there's not really any carries that can truly deal with this Deusa. I think EHOME are just going to have to play a really active early game. Hope Old 11 gets off to a great start. Make sure that the Mirana does really well, and they just try and fight their way into this game. But I would say personally that the drafting advantage is here to NP. But EHOME have Sylar Morphling, they've got a Garter Spirit Breaker, they have a lot of things that they usually favor, maybe comfort picks, and just good play can still win them this game 3.
Yeah, so let's take a look at lanes. Mid lane, we're definitely going to have some duels here, of course. You really want to get the best start for your Morphling possible, so they bring in Old Lanham on the Warlock. He's shown that he is an absolute powerhouse of aggressive supports, but this Witch Doctor has been in high priority as well, and I think it's going to do great supporting up Eternal Envy. Yeah,
I thought about the Morphling pretty early on, and it was before the Deusa got picked up, I was like, maybe it's just going to be another Sylar Morphling, right? But part of the danger of this hero is, first of all, you have Silence on Drow Ranger, you have a Silence coming out the puck. That Silence is really effective because it's like, boom, he blinks on you, he silences you, maybe you don't actually get your morph strength oftentimes, so you're susceptible to nukes at that. So you've got two different forms of silences, and one of them is really effective versus Morphling. You've got some burst damage a little bit there, and then you've got Maledict on the Witch Doctor, which is really good versus Morphling, as well as, I would say, I think the Abaddon will do okay at being able to prevent the shotgunning down of one of these heroes. So I think Sylar has quite a tough road ahead of him, but I think this game's less about him and more to do with the other two cores of EHOME and how they're able to control the tempo of this game, because they do have the opportunity to do a lot, I think, with these heroes. Mirana, as well as Bat Rider, with the lead, can actually control this game.
Yeah, I like the choice for the offlane puck. It's not
whoa, Courier.
super typical. Why was the Radiant Courier all the way out there? Bat Rider just fell asleep at the wheel, and it looks like he's going to give up first blood as well. Old 11 will go down. 14:37 finishes him off again. This has been a very long day for the talent and the players, but that seems a little bit of a pretty strong misplay there.
Hey, JJ, can you click on the Courier there? Am I missing something? It died before it got to the Bat Rider. Am I wrong in that? Or he picked up something? Oh, he got his healing salve. Okay. I was like, I clicked on the Courier and I was like, there's nothing there. I'm so confused, but
donkeys out for a walk, man. They lost control.
So he did at least get his healing salve, but obviously that really sucks for Sylar. That's going to hurt him quite a bit. Like some of these small items like Ring of Killa would be nice to have. Even just a magic stick against the snake spam that's going to be coming out from Eternal Envy. You know, there are a lot of little things besides just the obvious gold boost for NP that goes against EHOME. with that pick off of the courier. Right now, our Batrider is going to stop laning, and he's going to go into jungle, start stacking up, and take the safer farm that's available to him. The lane is a little dangerous at top, and it's all the more dangerous if he can't funnel himself some regen. That bottom lane puck is actually getting an okay amount. A puck that's left to his own devices is going to be hard-pressed to get any experience. So the fact he's almost level 2 at 3 minutes, and he sound really crappy, but I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised he got anything out of this, because Spearbreaker can solo zone you out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the other offlaners, Puck is still in lane, not feeling like he's going to be going down pretty soon, but Batrider had to bail out. It's just too dangerous there. He gave away the first blood, and he cannot afford to feed the Drow and get her off to an even earlier start than she's already going to be getting. So this top lane for NP, big check mark, check plus in their book, and that's going to be a pretty successful Drow. She's farming up really nicely, top of the last hit chart by a decent margin, and there's no slowing down Aoi now.
Now, there certainly is not. The jump forward here by Sylar trying to punish Eternal Envy. It looks like the snake still bounced back to him, though. So I think he was trying to combine the waveform to dodge the snake as well as get some CS and harassment onto Eternal Envy. The top lane, this Mystic Snake constantly being spammed out, is going to allow Eternal Envy to feel comfortable and high mana while also chipping away at Sylar's HP and mana pool.
Meanwhile, over here, 1437 has that aphotic shield up. So the fire, if it catches him out, might do a little bit of damage there. Couple stacks of napalm coming in. The shield is going to break, and can they finish him off? It looks like the gust's going to be off the mark, but Batrider should be able to get back down to his own part of the lane. Diving back in for a little bit more solo XP, but AUI not feeling scared of any sort of bat initiation.
Yeah, AUI was there just to make sure he did continue to try and run down the 1437. You could Gust push him back. Old 11 with that harassment on the support can buy himself a little bit of space, but now SVG's here and he doesn't have Firefly to get out, not for 3 seconds.
Oh, they've got the Maledict here. It seems like they got Old 11 unlocked. There will be a charge coming in from the Spearbreaker trying to buy some time. Coconut hits. Do they have the damage? Can they dive deep enough? 1437 pops his shield. Now Garter might be stuck in a little bit of unfriendly territory, so NP, they're able to hold that. They don't lose the Abaddon, and they're going to be forcing the Batrider back to base.
Man, that was super scary. You're stuck in the trees. You're just trying to like buy yourself time, hope you don't get gusted so you can get off a Firefly. And fly away. MSS is going to be hunted down here. Nice orb, phase shift away, arrow. Going to be nicely dodged there. As you can see, even when the Spearbreaker leaves lane, this is still a tough position. MSS, it looks like the wave is going to push forward for him unless Lanham intercepts here with the hard camp pull, or he's probably just going to do a regular pull over and get the other creep wave that's pushing in. So at least MSS will get his level 3. His levels are really important, right? Because he needs to be able to get, he's like the big initiator that allows the Dusa and the Drow Ranger to be able to beat on these heroes from a distance.
Smoke in, charge onto AUI. He's out alone, does not have any supports there. Can AUI turn this with a really nice gush? Of course, or gust rather. The bash hits. Oh man, Garter found the bash key and he's mashing it. AUI gets underneath his own tower. There's no lasso available. Old 11 may have actually bitten off more than he can shoot. Looks like they're turning this one around. They will get the Batrider.
Oh, Garter's dead too.
Garter, but they bring in MSS and they've got the damage. That's going to be an 0 for 2. NP outplaying EHOME, forcing them in to overly aggressive positions and making them play sloppy.
The Canadian crowd goes wild for their fellow countrymen as NP taking an early lead over EHOME here. And we already stressed the fact that NP do have a very nicely put together draft, that EHOME are the ones I think who have to kind of outplay NP in order to win this game.
Oh, look at that snake. Doing so much damage there to Sylar. He's almost fresh out of mana and his regen is not going to be fantastic either. So I mean, this Morphling is stunted. You look down in the bottom lane. Yeah, Mirana's getting farmed, but Muerta can't carry this all by herself.
No, she cannot. She can do a lot of damage in the mid game, but she's going to need the help of Old 11. So the fact he died up there in the top lane, just further delaying this drums, and then the Blink Dagger.
Is this really something you want to take right now? Mirana's got the leap away, but there's going to be a coconut to follow up. Charge coming in onto MSS, but it's easy enough for a puck to disengage. Looks like a smoke going to be coming back in. The Ancient's all bashed up. Phase shift trying to buy himself some time this time, but the arrow does connect. Oh, Witch Doctor feels helpless there, cannot aid his ally, and EHOME put themselves on the map with a very deep gank.
Nicely set up that Spearbreaker, making a lot of presence already. Garter Spearbreaker rotating around the map has put some pressure on top lane, even if they lost that kill earlier. They're still trying to get this Spearbreaker to be super aggressive.
Look at AUI, seek some aggression underneath the tier 1 tower. Old 11 has to TP out, he just can't stand the heat.
and AUI will be able to take a very early tier 1 tower, it seems like, off of this. The Abaddon, perfect answer to Bat Rider in many ways. He sits off the lane and is able to just give his carry the aphotic shield whenever the sticky napalm stacks get a little bit too high and the Bat Rider tries to get aggressive. And then the panel already covered the other ways. He's going to be a nice little counter, right? Like potentially cuts the lasso out, though that's unreliable due to the range and the animation of aphotic shield. But much more likely if a hero gets hit by an arrow, right? That's when aphotic shield becomes really powerful because you can just run over to your ally and take that stun off of them. So there are some really good potential plays here for the Abaddon. We'll see how the mid game kind of plays out. Right now it's EHOME trying to get their basic items, their basic amount of farm, and then try and be aggressive into a Drow Ranger and tough. Very dangerous, but it's going to be all about initiation. NP have some counter initiation, they have some ways to be able to keep heroes alive through a lasso and such, but if they actually get the initiation first on NP, right? If they jump in with coil, very likely that they win that fight, because it just sets up the Medusa and it sets up the Drow Ranger for easy silences, snakes, and a bunch of right clicks.
Envy definitely having a much easier game on this Medusa than last game on his Terrorblade. Let's switch over to net worth and look where he sits on that. It looks like he's going to be right up there with the Drow Ranger, Morphling a close third, so they really do have to keep Sylar in check, and it looks like they're going to be trying to do so. Envy is going to get that snake back right about now, but does not have the range to go in, so it looks like NP just going to settle for some tower shots, burning out the Fortify, and I mean, AUI already able to stand out of tower range. The arrow does connect on the Drow Ranger.
And then boop!
Yeah, but easily taken off, and EHOME don't want to initiate on that anyway. It's too risky.
Yeah, I like how NP, oftentimes the Drow Ranger, he pushes that offlane tower, he'll back up, start farming jungle, the supports will rotate around. NP actually choose to go, okay, EHOME actually do not have the supports to challenge us, right? They've got a Warlock without level 6, same goes with Spirit Breaker. Maybe. It's going to require them to be able to charge and force out the phase shift, and old 11 runs it down, and hope there isn't rotations from NP as well. Quick TP could stop this gang.
Pudge is going to be going in with a phase shift. Is his team going to try to bail him out now? It looks like MSS is able to go ahead and get himself back to a safe distance.
TP's team?
Old 11 is going to get this kill. They're chasing forward. A TP comes in now. The burn damage will be enough. MSS does fall. And looks like Envy won't be able to go ahead and find Old 11. They've got the Dire Courier chasing around. Eternal Envy following the trail of flames. Snake coming in. Not going to do enough damage on that one hit.
And he's like, come on, team. Why am I the one who has to TP and try and save MSS? An Abaddon, even a Witch Doctor, could have just as easily saved MSS's life there. But NP, they're trying to stick with this strategy of the Drow Ranger pushing down all these early tier 1 towers. Lanham's throwing a bit of a wrench in those plans by upheavaling and slowing down the push, but it will happen nonetheless.
I really like that early point in upheaval from Warlocks. We don't see that a whole lot usually. The Shadow Word, the Fatal Bond prioritized, but I do think against NP's really early, really aggressive draft, it's going to be super helpful.
Coil will stop the TP out here from Old Chicken, but nothing they can do past that. Just stopping the rotation and allowing the Drow Ranger to take that bottom tier 1. So all the tier 1s off the map here for EHOME. It's going to close things off quite a bit, make things harder for Sylar to be able to get the necessary amount of farm to have an impact when it comes to split pushing, let alone when it comes to team fights.
Deep ward here, 1437, definitely getting some good vision for his team, but I don't think there's going to be anything else to follow that up. MSS rotates to mid, getting some good solo experience, finally finding some more farm for himself. His net worth is a bit small, but he will definitely bounce back for this. Looks like he's saving up a good amount of money and flying in his next round of items.
All right, Old 11's going to have a Blink Dagger here around 12.5, 13 minutes. He doesn't get ganked right now. So this is where they can start getting active, right? They're going to smoke up with like him and Muerta or something like that, or they're going to do a Spirit Breaker charge, and they're going to get that one gank. Who is the most important hero for them to kill? Like, Dusa's the big carry, right? But in some ways, Dusa isn't very effective for the first, like, maybe 25 minutes of the game. He, like, slowly ramps up and then starts becoming more of a menace around 40 minutes. Maybe it's more important to go for the Drow Ranger first, or maybe it's more important to kill the Puck. Make sure he doesn't get that Blink Dagger, so NP aren't able to find those kind of initiations onto Sylar, for example, who's their big carry, who they're trying to protect his farm at all costs. We'll see, here comes that smoke, and here comes this first Blink Dagger reveal. They're gonna head up to the top lane and go for the Dusa. They're gonna wrap around, and NP gonna be caught off guard, it seems.
Envy gonna be going in the Moonlight Shadow, but
God.
Envy's pretty keen on that. He's running back under his tier 1 tower, so it looks like EHOME may have whipped their initiation, and if things get real, NP are definitely ready to go and TP into this top tower and keep Envy up.
Yeah, the worst part is even if they find that initiation, if Eternal Envy's fast enough and he gets off the ultimate, then that just like halts any kinds of initiations, and NP can very rapidly make a rotation, whether through TPs or just running through their jungle, and get to Eternal Envy to punish EHOME not being quick enough to be able to disable Eternal Envy. Now that initiation doesn't even happen, they still have the Blink Dagger somewhere in their hands, but NP probably know about it. They probably figured that's what this smoke rotation is about.
They do get that lasso off,
There's
and they
the
are going to
Aphotic
be able to
Shield.
go through. Again, lasso perched off, the charge still coming in, so Envy doing whatever he can, but looks like more fling going in. Sylar trying to make some space, and there is going to be Warlock being focused down. Does manage to drop the golem in time. Witch Doctor, though, keeps up that damage spray coming in. They do end up losing Envy. Very important kill. Now EHOME are feeling confident to keep going. Flame Break coming in, just forcing Owie back further into safety. And they're going to be charging in. They want to get MSS, but the Gust to stop things, as well as the Dream Coil, will hold EHOME in place. Movement forward from Sylar, trying to go in onto 1437, and looks like he is going to be going down. His ultimate is going to be on cooldown for that, so it's just going to be AUI and MSS left to defend this. Sylar TP's home.
Whoa, what?
Coming in onto AUI, they're trying to punish him while he doesn't have supports up, and they're probably going to be able to get this. Puck moves in, and they got the Witch Doctor coming in, but does get stunned, not able to coconut in time, and that's going to be a very successful movement from EHOME.
Holy cow, that team fight was worth so much. I did not imagine that EHOME were going to be able to make the Batrider Marana rotation that worth, but that is a 3,000 gold exchange by itself, and everything else that happens from there, like the little movements around the map, the farm they open up for Sylar, the items that they get that allow the Marana to continue to move forward in itemization and get the early Aghanim Scepter, like that means so much, and it all comes down to Lana. Like that guy managed to get off a 4-man Fatal Bonds, and I was just like, oh god, this fight could go so wrong for NP if he actually gets off that Chaotic Offering. They tried to burst him down, but he still got it off, and then the burst damage just came through, right? They had the 4-man Fatal Bonds, they had the Chaotic Offering down, all of a sudden a Starstorm comes down, and all of these heroes take so much damage, because Dusa takes the double Starstorm, and she takes the extra Starstorm damage when it lands on the Abaddon, and the Fatal Bond bounces over to him, and then whatever else is happening, he just got nuked down so quickly. EHOME need more of those fights, though, right? Because you still, even after a 3,000 the exchange right to favor of EHOME, they are still holding top 2 net worth on AMD, and they're about to pick up Roshan.
Yeah, and we're only at 15 minutes. This isn't even when the Drow stat starts to really shine, so it's going to get ugly for EHOME unless they're able to keep up that pressure. And in that last fight, it feels like they really caught NP off guard, and now NP are definitely going to be more mindful of the damage EHOME bring in. So TPs come through, MSS is ready to go back in with that Dream Coil initiation. Meanwhile, Sylar could fall victim mid lane. He's got the Replicate, and I don't think they've got the silences to keep him at bay.
I actually don't think that exchange is too bad for EHOME. They get 2 tier 1 towers in exchange for Roshan, and they're also a team that's more pick-off oriented than full-out team fight. So they can still play they can still play aggressive. They want to be able to split push, force NP to split up, and then finds the occasional pick with the Batrider or the Marana, and that's how they're going to grind their way ahead in net worth in this game, and not just trying to make a comeback. So the Aegis is not a huge threat to them, because they can still force NP away from 5-man deathball scenarios.
MSS on our puck is still feeling a little bit poor, saving up only about 1,200 gold, about on par with Warlock in terms of net worth. What does MSS have to do to really be an impactful puck?
Get good Dream Coils, that's kind of it. Like, you're just like, a puck's job is an offlaner, right? And it's been a long time since we saw regular offlane pucks being run in the meta. The job used to be just survive in your lane, get that Blink Dagger, and look for those really good Dream Coils, because if he's able to get that right, you've got Solid Snake, or excuse me, Mystic Snake that's going to bounce around, you've got the Paralyzing Cast, they've got the Silence, like there's so many things that if they actually get that controlling ability, the locks a hero into these multiple heroes into this one area, NP could just beat on them from a distance. They have these really good bouncing abilities that can take advantage of close position heroes. Like there's so many things that could happen off of that Dream Coil, but he needs that Blink Dagger first, and that requires him not to die for the next couple minutes. He's only 700 gold away.
All right, EHOME, they're grouping up. They're trying to move in towards the Roche pit, maybe up into that bottom lane, rotating into the mid jungle. They're looking for pickups here, but NP aren't giving them a whole lot. Looks like they're going to have to go down bottom. AUI, will he be keen on this? The Moonlight Shadow, wearing thin. Old 11, though, has that Blink Lasso. They're going to have to dive real deep for this if they want to go.
And it seems like maybe a River Ward towards the bottom of the map might have caught some of this rotation. I think also it is showing that EHOME are trying to push in this tier 1. It's not a very safe place for them to be. Looks like they may actually try and contest this tower. But this is risky, right? If MSS dies in this fight, you're further delaying that Blink Dagger.
Rider, this is his time to shine. He's going in. He's looking for a pick. His Firefly is already out. He wants to go in onto the Medusa, spraying up some sticking napalm. Meanwhile, AUI is going in and cleaning up the creep wave.
Yeah, everybody's got to stay away from that Bat Rider and the potential blink and pull back maybe into a cliff area or even just the full rotation out of EHOME. They successfully defend their tower and they dodge any sort of Firefly. So EHOME can't actually go for another push for at least a little bit. NP though, I think you're just probably happy with a little bit of space that you bought. EHOME similarly okay with NP just rotating multiple heroes down to the bottom lane where then Slark can go to the opposite side of the map, free farm there. They're just hoping NP won't be able to take any objectives with this Aegis and continue to play the pickoff game, which may work here as they rotate 3 of their heroes up towards Eternal Envy. But he starts to play a little bit passive as a couple of the heroes disappear from mid.
I don't know if they're really going to be able to get Envy here. The charge to start things off is you have the Bat Rider lasso, but TP's up coming to that. Might be able to keep him safe. Bat Rider, he pulls the drum, blinks in, and grabs Medusa right by the... Oh, Flame Break is going to break that up. And 14:37 moving forward. They want to find the kill onto Sylar, but he's got the Remnant out, rather the Replicant out. And he should be able to escape. He's going to be waveforming in, continuing through the trees, but NP don't want to re-engage there.
They're pinging the hell out of him. They want to try and catch up. Sylar will be able to TP away. No one else really caught. It's just so hard for them to be able to burst down this Dusa because they just don't have the right heroes for it. They don't have like supports that deal an incredible amount of single target damage. They don't have any mana burn. They have the right kind of defensive responding heroes on NP to make it tough to be able to fully commit to a Dusa, because even if you fully commit, right, and you manage to kill her, you've blown everything, and then you still have to deal with a Drow Ranger Puck, who are pretty active heroes at this point.
Moonlight Shadow coming in as the charge should complete. NP, they're going to be able to get their Dusa back a fair ways, and it looks like the charge will be cancelled. They don't want to go into any unfriendly territory. One thing about EHOME that we can continually praise is they play with such a high level of discipline.
Yeah, I think they're, again, I think they're really, like they picked up the Aegis. What has NP done with it? They're just moving around the map. They're forcing NP to constantly respond to these little potential hostile forces and the attempt to go on Eternal Envy and whatever. It's like forcing NP away from farming, away from pushing objectives, and it's giving Sylar time to farm. He's beginning to catch up to the Drow Ranger and the Medusa, and so is the Muerta. The Muerta is only just begun, right? You just want to be able to finish out that Aghanim Scepter. All of a sudden you get this great farming power. You're able to push in side lanes constantly, and then all of a sudden once you have the Blink Dagger as well, then it's not just Sylar who pushes out the side lanes and forces NP to constantly be, keeping their head out on swivel and looking behind them. It's also the Muerta, and that just buys more and more time in this game for them to be able to get that big shotgun out of the Morphling. I think EHOME is playing the strategy really well.
Yeah, they found the space on Sylar. He's not getting locked down as much as he was in game number 1. But we are 20 minutes into a Drow strat with a bunch of ranged heroes to combo up, so NP are going to start feeling a little bit scarier now. We'll see if they can initiate onto Sylar here, because he doesn't have the Replicant.
I mean, I didn't expect them to give up this much map control in the first place. I thought they'd be able to be super active and they get, oh god, he has an ace, never mind.
Well, they are able to get a gust off, but it's just going to buy some time, and Lisa goes right back to farming. Meanwhile, down bottom, they're initiating deep here. Bat Rider going in with the Firefly, but he's not going to commit the lasso here, decides better of it. And NP, they're just going to TP in to try to defend their structures while Sylar continues to farm.
Yeah, wow. I think EHOME are really doing this. They're trying to get this, Shadow Blade, potential pick-off in the Sylar, and maybe they will actually get it with the burst damage. Okay.
Beautifully done. You can hear the crowd go wild. That's exactly what NP needed to show that they're really alive, they're really kicking, and they're ready to get this Drow strat off the ground.
Yeah, you gotta sometime punish Sylar for just greedily split-pushing you like this, and they have the heroes to do it. It's just the problem was they gave EHOME a little bit too much space to work with, but finally they have the Blink Dagger, finally they have the Shadow Blade, and they can start closing off this map. Unless Eternal Envy gets picked here, it's gonna be split into an arrow.
Darren Edwards breaking the Lincolns preemptively, and they've got the damage. Just surrounding him like middle school bullies, but the Stone Game's coming out. Envy, he's fighting back. He's not going to give up so easy. Looks like they might not be able to find any real targets off of this as the Moonlight Shadow comes out, but definitely keeping EHOME on their toes. Looks like Spirit Breaker could still be in trouble. They've got the vision on him. Puck auto attacks flying out. Can they keep up here? Garter takes a miss coil. He's still barely alive. He goes for the TP, but they've got the damage. Well played by NP, tying up the kill score at 6-6 at 22 minutes in.
Yeah, and they finally chip away at some of that lead that EHOME has built themselves over the last 5 to 8 minutes. They were actually getting a nice little lead despite Roshan going to NP's favor. It was the split pushing the towers that going down.
SVG. I'm really surprised EHOME didn't look to punish that, but they know NP. They know they're just not going to leave their Witch Doctor in no man's land. There is follow-up, so good choice. Again, discipline to back out from that initiation.
And again, NP are going to, this is seems to be a just overall team decision that they're making when they go for these, they pick up these lineups that are able to take like certain amount of control early, and they always get the hand of Midas to make sure they have...
Oh, they got the silence off, and they are able to get the Morphling down. A minute in the grave with no buyback. Beautifully executed by NP, and here they are able to exert some pressure onto the bottom lane as well.
Man, the moment I start getting worried about NP and maybe giving too much space for EHOME, and EHOME are finding places to be able to give themselves a fighting chance in the mid-game, they seem to be able to draw this game out just enough for the Morphling to be able to become fully online. All of a sudden, boom, NP double gank up Styler's Morphling, completely shut him down. They get a kill on bottom lane. They're controlling the map. Like all of a sudden, like just 3 or 4 minutes ago, right? All the lanes were pushed in to EHOME's favor. Styler was finding farm on the side. Now look at it. Like map is the mid lane was pushed in not so long ago for NP. Bottom is super pushed in. Top lane's being pushed in. Like eventually you're going to see NP start closing off the map more and more and more. They're going to start taking away these tier 2 towers, and every single time Styler pushes out, he has to worry about a Shadow Blade, Drow Ranger, who's able to go for the silence, the Puck with the Blink Dagger, then instant initiation, and then overall, EHOME can't pick the Medusa, as we've seen time and time again. That's not a hero you can really go for, it seems. They just don't have enough burst damage.
The solution for EHOME right now is going to try to be going aggressive. They are able to grab up the Drow Ranger. Looks like they're going to be...
He didn't have any counter vision.
Okay. So Drow Ranger's just finally going to go for the guts. They get the green coil off as well. It's just the Warlock. He's going to be going in, trying to escape there with that little glimmer cape, but that is not working out.
Yeah, now MP, it's Roshan time. Rosh taking time. They can get themselves an Aegis. This is about the time you want to start taking out those tier 2s.
Oh, Pimp. No, that's a sad face. That's not a question mark.
Sad times. Come on.
Thank
like
you, Pimp.
That count. Both counter wards, they're right there on the edge. Like, oh man. If I'm EHOME, I'm like so sure they have a ward in the
You're triangulating it. You got one more shot, one opportunity to use this on the I think that sucks.
All right. Aegis now, Silver Edge, Hurricane Pike for the Drow Ranger. Okay, EHOME, they got a hardcore split push and see if they can force NP apart. Again, you want to try and prevent that deathball, but NP, they don't have to commit all 5 heroes to pushes. Again, the Medusa can be this really great frontline hero, whether it's for pushing down towers or defending them, because she's simply not a hero that EHOME want to be able to
very nice
on.
timing on the Gus. Immediate pop away. Looks like Sylar is a bit cautious. MSS is at the ready. Doesn't have the green coil. There he goes. He picks it up just about now. Spirit Breaker charging in. Is he going to complete this? They want to go in for this. Looks like he's going to decide better. And again, AUI with that Dragon Lance can just whack at this tower from out of range. They're going to go for tier 2 trade. This will benefit NP as they now have complete control over the Radiant Jungle and the Roast Pit.
Yeah, Old Chicken, he didn't have the mana to really be down there and still have Starstorm and Arrow, and they didn't even have Moonlight Shadow available, so I think it was a wise decision for them to just give up that tier 2. It sucks, but it is what it is. At this point in time, if NP have more than 3 heroes in a lane, you really just cannot fight into them, at least for now. We'll see as Sylar has his Ghost Scepter, starts building into that Ethereal Blade, their team fight potential gets better and better, but Dusa, she is getting to monster status. If she actually completes that Scotty, forget about trying to kill her. She's going to be killing you. She's actually going to to be outputting really good
You just try to
damage.
live. You just try to skate around the Dusa and don't go down to her.
Yeah, you don't even have like that. Like Morphling's really mobile, so he can stay one step ahead. They've got Upheaval, I guess, Sticky Napalm. I guess they do have some good ways to be able to kite around the Dusa, but that's only if Dusa isn't pushing down your towers, right? If she's pushing down your tier 3 tower, then you kind of have to fight into her somehow. You still go for the back lines, you still maybe leave the Dusa for last, but you are going to be within attack range of that split shot and that slow from Scotty that's going to be applied to you. And heavy amount of physical damage. That's what it's turning into. Because the Dusa comes online so much faster when she has Drow Ranger.
Sylar, he's got his replicant here, but can they get the silence off in time? It looks like he might get spooked here. He actually tries to move forward and immediately hops back to his replicant there. If Drow had been a little bit quicker with the gust, maybe it could have been unfortunate, but Sylar plays smart.
It's still really hard, right? Even if they did get the silence off, he'd be able to Ghost after dodging a lot of physical damage and just wait out that silence. So they have to come in with a puck, they'd have to get that double silence, and then still try and burst him down while Sylar's morphing to strength really quickly if he has any kind of opportunity to pop that before the initial silence.
Again, tier 2 for tier 2 trade, and I mean, Drow Ranger can take this thing down so quickly. I don't want to underestimate Sylar, because even in game 1, it looked like EHOME may have been able to turn it around on the back of Sylar playing like a machine. Morphling is one of his ultimate comfort heroes, but it is looking very, very tough.
EHOME, are they going to try and be the ones to push high ground, see if they can force NP back? Because that's a huge win, just positioning-wise, if they can force NP off of the push.
NP are okay with this. They've got a Drow that's just plowing through towers, 1437, getting aggressive, and they are going to force the rotations back from EHOME. It's just Sylar versus the world once again. Trying to wrap this out. Moonlight Shadow to ensure his escape, and there is going to be that upheaval. 1437 maybe left alone here. There's going to be a charge as well. He does have an ultimate. There's going to be a drag back. They are able to get some lockdown, but again, nice save coming out from the Abaddon, and there's going to be a Death Ward channeled up. Not going to be super impactful from the Witch Doctor, but breaks up the party, forces EHOME to go back up onto their high ground. The tier 3 is down, and it looks like the Lady Archers are going to start to tear apart the racks. Meanwhile, Sylar doing Sylar things. I don't know if he can outpush this.
Again, it's a situation where you have to give up the lane of rags because you're fighting into Aegis, so I like what EHOME are doing here. We'll talk about it as the fight kind of comes to a conclusion here. Looks like they're actually engaging at top 2.
Very well played here. There is going to be a Chaotic Offering dropped out. So Warlock getting off a bit of damage. Abaddon is still alive. AUI going in, wants to find the kill on the Warlock and should be able to do so. Lanham casts out the heal, but it will not be in time. There's going to be Old Chicken on the back line, looking to leap in and maybe drop some damage as 1437 is exceptionally low. Can he get it done? He's waiting for the arrow, but initiation from the Drow Ranger forces the blink back on the Muerta. And now she's going to be the next target here. EHOME, they're feeling a little flimsy. They're lacking their Morphling right now. And now they're going to be getting their mid lane pushed in as well.
Really well played by NP, right? They had already had preemptively Eternal Envy in a position to be able to defend that push at bottom lane. So as soon as EHOME see a hero defending, they're like, okay guys, we can try and fight top. But then of course, the Boots of Travel comes into play. Deuce is able to TP to the top lane, and then they're set up in their 5-man, so EHOME can't go into that. EHOME had a really beautiful disengage too at the right moment. And then Sylar bounces back to that bottom lane, right, with his replicate, and then NP had the final ultimate strategical move where they're able to get that quick kill on Sylar and still be able to fight at top lane. A big win for NP where they take a full lane of Rags and they've relieved quite a bit of pressure. I think they were always feeling comfortable, but now you feel super comfortable when you take a lane of Rags by 30 minutes. That really cuts into the amount of gold that Muerta and Morphling are going to be able to take up. The super creeps just giving a lot less and being a lot harder to kill. And this will just slow down the progression of late game, essentially, of these heroes. And NP still have good late game, right? It's just like the situation in game 1 where it's like EHOME had to do so many things just to be able to get themselves a fighting shot going into mid to late game. But they didn't even necessarily win that, right? Because there was still this really good Juggernaut and all these other heroes that were scaling and had a really big net worth lead on NP. It's just like game 1 in so many ways. Just a full different set of heroes for NP with this nice Dusa Drow Ranger combination.
Think it's going to end the same way as game 1, or the EHOME got some aces up their sleeve?
It's looking like it anyway. That top engagement was a huge win. They won on both sides of it, right? They only gave up a tier 3 tower. They got pickoffs. They got the lane of racks. It's going to be really tough because NP will just be able to corral the lanes in even further. And EHOME are going to have to play riskier when it comes to their pickoffs and their split pushing, which just leaves opportunities for NP to be able to punish, right? As you can see them trying to do here against Old Chicken.
I think the difference in this game compared to game 1 is now NP actually have the burst to get the Morphling down when he's ratting. You saw in that last engage he wasn't able to TP home and get out scot-free. Puck is able to burst him down exceptionally quickly.
Jump away. Fortunately, Old Chicken does not get caught in that bottom lane. Ethereal Blade is up. Oh, God. Oh man, I did not see this coming.
Ooh,
Aghanim Scepter for
alright.
the Abaddon. So this is like a Centaur ultimate, but in a small AoE. He just soaks up all this damage that his allies are taking.
So
So
he's going to get a full heal. His allies are going to feel pretty much invincible. That is going to force NP to play very clustered up, which does allow for a more clutch Warlock ulti, but I mean, that's just trying to look for a very dim light at the end of the tunnel.
if they actually get these lanes split pushed in, and NP are in a position to be able to push into your high ground without having to immediately worry about Sylar's split push, how do you possibly kill this Dusa? Even if you break the Lincoln, you get the initiation, you get the lasso, you start pulling him back, you get ahead of that Photic Shield, then what happens if Abaddon still just is able to run himself in and pop that borrowed time and decrease the amount of damage you're able to do to that Dusa? I just don't see a way for them to be able to burst down this very threatening carry. And that's not even talking about the solo carry of NP. They still have the Drow Ranger out for a lot of damage.
Gonna boost the travels in here now. All 5 NP heroes grouped up. They're ready to take a fight. We'll see what vision they have here. The wards overall pretty lacking on the map. There's gonna be some pings out as Envy moving forward does have the Stone Gaze ready to go, which could be a great initiator. The rest of the group are smoked up. 1437 gonna have a smoke broken. Meanwhile, Drow Ranger is able to find a gust onto the Warlock, throwing out a couple of arrows. Meanwhile, Sylar, he's doing Sylar things.
Yeah, trying to chip away at that tier 2 tower. He's actually going to try and turn here, see if he can get a quick pickoff. Maybe on MSS.
There's a silence. Is he going to be in trouble here? Is Lincoln going to be popped, like you talked about, morphing strength, going to be zipping away? Replicate now off cooldown. Going to be throwing out the adaptive strike, dodged by MSS. Sylar, he makes the replicate. Is he going to be able to get it far enough away from the pack? Or is that replicate going to be contained? Looks like he's moving it in towards the tree line and will be able to escape. But a TP in. It looks like NP want to punish this. They know Sylar's low on mana. They know he's got no options left. And it looks like he can be picked off here. He's morphing strength for all he's worth, but he's surrounded and he will go down. Excellently played by NP, anticipating Sylar's movement and punishing.
Yeah, MSS really played that really well, where he was just kind of like sitting around the Morphling, keeping track of him and holding onto that Dream Coil to prevent the Morphling from being able to make a clean TP escape. And even when he does try and jump to his replicate, he still cannot find the space, it seems, to be able to get away from NP. Now, I mean, you're talking about trying to corral the lanes in and not have to worry about the split push of Sylar, but what happens if you kill that physical damage dealer yourself? Then, 40 seconds, you don't have to worry about him. You can just go straight down the lane, push out that lane of Rax without any fear of recompense from EHOME. Because even if the Muerta does try and do the split push thing, he cannot put the physical damage to be able to stop.
35 minutes in, the potency of just a raw Drow strat is starting to fade, but I mean, they've now got great late game damage. The Boots are really coming online. Charge through, will back on a couple, but Carter, can he actually get this done? He's just going to break the Lincolns, and there's going to be Muerta tossing out Starstorms. Envy still feeling full health, full mana, and this tower is melting. These racks will soon to be cleaned up. So much on the line here, Cap. Again, this one game is the difference between Grand Finals in the Bell Center and having to leave the tournament.
Arrow goes out. Oh, it snagged MSS in the back. Maybe they can make it. Oh, God, that Photic Shield.
MSS is fine. He's going to be face shifting off. Now Garter's going to be in some trouble. Stunned up. The upheaval causing a little bit of damage, but Envy, he's just weathering the storm here. He moves up onto the Muerta, trying to buy some time. There is going to be the Ethereal Blade thrown out onto the Dusa, but again, everyone's so tanky. They're going to be able to pick off the Batrider, and the rest of NP can still fight. The arrow flying through does clip onto 1437, but he doesn't really care.
The Batrider has such a hard job. Like, he has to somehow initiate on the back line, but his team really can't follow him up too well, as they've got this Dusa sitting in front of them, just beating them back, essentially. Even if they hit the arrow and they make the right kind of jump in to be able to get the lasso and pull them back, it's just like one pickoff that doesn't even necessarily win you the game. Oh, almost got MSS.
I think NP read this game really well, anticipating that the Batrider is always going to want to start the fight off, so Drow goes back for Lincoln's. They've got Lincoln's Dusa, Lincoln's Drow. There's just a lot you have to get through before you're able to get these high-value targets in your grasp. Arrow coming in. Oh, this is going to be a great initiation, but just off the mark from AUI. I think EHOME want to cut their losses here, realize that initiation didn't go 100% perfect, so do not fight.
Yeah, they can't really fight into an Abaddon anyway, right? He's still got that ultimate to be able to fall back on, so unless you're getting some sort of crazy lasso pullback that he's so far behind enemy lines that even with the ultimate he'll still die, you really shouldn't worry about it. So Batrider had super hard job for this game. Somehow find the initiation, to be able to offset the very clear team fight advantage that is the favor of NP. Now he has to deal with triple Lincolns? Like, how? I don't understand, like, how he can actually play this game well enough to get EHOME an initiation they need to win a team fight.
Arrow slides right past Deuce, and now the fight is going to break out, knowing Deuce is not in the mix, but looks like Witch Doctor's going to try to turn this one around. Will get bashed up. He's still got the Death Ward when he hatches out, but will he be able to channel it off in time? There he goes. He's going to be getting off the damage, and the Chaotic Offering comes in. Witch Doctor's still feeling fine. Arrow spraying through will not connect onto any NP heroes. In fact, they are able to get the kill on the Warlock. Spearbreaker buys back. Batrider's down. It's not looking good for EHOME. They're just rapidly running out of resources, running out of heroes to take this game.
I don't blame them for trying to take that fight. They cannot, like, it's almost so sure that they can't win a fight when NP are 5-man in front and just like pushing into your base. So they've got to do what like Eternal Envy is famous for. Like his whole entire philosophy behind Dota, when you're behind, right, is create chaos. So EHOME need to make a really chaotic team fight.
Oh my, they're actually going to go in for this. Muerta wanted to go in aggressively with that arrow, but Pudge been able to dodge out. Enough stuff does end up getting picked off there, but again, making space. You know, absolute space created there for NP. They find themselves another Aegis, and they're easily going to be able to defend their high ground.
And EHOME are left with very few options. They need to try and force NP into a defensive position for the next 50 seconds while that puck is down. But if they just wait for the puck being up and then they push in and control the lanes again, they can go for 4-man pushes and have NV be defending the base, as you can always do to travel in. At least they'll get the, looks like this tier 2 glyph will wear out and Sylar will beat down that backdoor protection slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's slow going, but
I was like, okay, never mind, can't do it.
Give up as Envy comes in, Stone Gaze comes out. Maybe a little bit trigger happy on that, but better safe than sorry, I guess.
Deuces. Sylar. Oh god, 3,200 gold on Envy. He's got a Mjolnir, a Scotty, a
Sylar gonna be going in, playing the long con here. Envy now might be in a little bit of trouble. Old 11 thinking about going back in on this. He does end up thinking about it. There he goes. He blinks up, but there is a full health Juzo. Look at this. They're tickling him. It's 3 heroes, and Envy's standing up on all of them.
Stop it, have mercy!
Okay, Envy is able to get a double kill before falling. They don't get Sylar, so that's going to be not the best for NP, but I mean, that's acceptable.
I think that was totally worse for EHOME. They forced a cheese usage out of Envy and got the kill. In fact, look at the fight recap. It was actually favorable for EHOME. They lost 2 heroes for 1, but like NP's so big that they got, don't worry JJ, they got 1,000 gold for that kill. And NP got very little because EHOME's super underfarmed, right? We have a 15,000 gold lead. It's always worth it to make those kind of trades for the big carry. They didn't even lose a really important core, right? That's the Muerta and Morphling. So that was super worth. Even if it was like, it showed how powerful Medusa was worth. That individual exchange is worth it. It buys them a little bit of time. They no longer have to worry about at least cheese. It's like, they're so far behind, but you have to take every little advantage you get and just try and build it up and see if you can make that 5%, that 10%, that 30% chance you have to win, which they were not able to do in game number 1. But it would be a hell of a comeback if they did in game number 3.
Yeah, again, both teams fighting for their lives in this tournament. You definitely want to make it to the Bell Center here. That is one of the big draws of coming up to Montreal, and EHOME certainly not going out without kicking and screaming first, so they're going to be moving up smoke gank here. Sylar gets lots of room. This would be a really nice pick here. They're going in, but the Shadow Blade away, and they could be blinking out. Looks like 1437 move reveal. They're going to be going in, start the fight on a batter, but now EHOME are fractured. They're split up. They're going to get picked off the Witch Doctor, and they're looking for more here. And they're going to drop the Chaotic Offering. BKB is still rocking out for the Drow Ranger. Look at the damage they're able to output. The Batrider goes down. They clean up the Golem, and they're still going to be looking for more. NP still very much alive, and they should be able to find the kill onto Lana before he's able to TP out. So NP making that worthwhile. EHOME, they're trying to find these initiations. You got to commend them for their attitude, for their ability to stay in the game, but they just can't find the kills they need.
Yeah, you have to play to win, right? You can't just play to idly sit by and not lose. You have to play to win. That's what EHOME are doing there with that aggressive maneuver. You need to try and force NP into a defensive position. You need to try and get engagements on their side of the map, because they're at a point in the game where they lose one team fight and the game is over, right? They lose one team fight on their side of the map, the game's just pretty much over. They don't have any buybacks to be able to work well, so they had to be aggressive. They just couldn't quite make that game work, and now...
They cannot afford to lose the Muerta here. The buybacks are so few and far between that Old Chicken's going to be trying to leap back to base. For all it's worth, Arrow comes in, just connecting onto a creep. Meanwhile, the puck to go ahead and get Yuled up. Lincoln tops left and right, but this tower is still melting. Skylar comes in, thinking about initiating. Nice, that's Evil connecting on the two heroes. And they're going to be going into Lasso onto Medusa. She can still turn, she can still Stone Gaze when this is all said and done. There's going to be a charge in 1437 in his ult.
He doesn't have the mana to do it.
His allies, and now Eternal Envy gets all his mana burned down. No more Stone Gaze, but the damage is coming out, and they are able to get to the Morphling. The Strength Morph is not enough to keep him alive. Immediate buybacks, but a second full lane of racks is going to be falling. That's going to be Megas.
Yeah, EHOME now have to fight through Megas. They still need to try and catch whatever heroes they can here. They'll get the Witch Doctor. That's just the start. Let's see how many more they can get.
None.
MS Test. He's going to try and jump away. Maybe they can get him. Oh no, they see more. Maybe they can catch AUI. Oh god.
Oh, their eyes bigger than their stomachs here. They're going in against a very beefy target. AUI's BKB is back up and Morphling. This could be a dieback. 1437 with the axe, keeping his entire team healthy. Oh, this is getting real dangerous. Muerta doing everything she can to output damage. Old 11 still going in. There's going to be a Hurricane Pike out. AUI gets fall, but they get the Bat Rider as well. That's going to be at least a return kill. Looks like they should
they're
be
going
able
to get the gem
the
as well.
This is going to be really important. He's able to pop off his shield, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. EHOME, they're actually making this fight extremely worthwhile, but Envy is back, and Envy is angry. The snake is bouncing around. It's going to be Yuled up onto the puck to get him down. The upheaval now is going to be holding Envy in place. Look how slow he squiggles, and he cannot catch up to anyone else on EHOME.
Witch Doctor is on the back line here.
SVG, Godspeed, man. You got this.
Yeah, you've got Carter. Carter doesn't charge the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor's able to just let it go.
Oh, Eternal Envy coming in, the Snake coming in, and that should be a kill onto Lanham. Nice focus there from NP, but that was still a pretty big hit to them.
I'm not sure how, but EHOMEs, they just seem to go to these, like, there's no way they can make the comeback, and then they make these small little plays, inch by inch, you know, they just kind of grind their way back into it sometimes.
Oh, but this final tier 4 going to be falling. The Ancient is exposed. It's Megas. Gosh, if EHOME come back from this, that will probably be the most dope comeback in Dota right now.
Yeah, it just seems so impossible, but who knows? NP would have to mess up big time, multiple times, to be able to give EHOME a chance at life in this game, but EHOME are not going to give up. As we saw, even when they got Mega, they still pushed out, they forced that team fight, they got pick after pick after pick, kept most of their important heroes alive, and got a little bit of gold to be able to work with. Unfortunately, they still do not have buybacks on any of these heroes, and NP can just play a patience game if they really wanted to. They can push high ground right now and see if they can force something, or they can sit back, wait for Roshan. Like, the world is their oyster. You can do so many things as NP. You can smoke into the enemy base, see if you can catch that one pick. You can troll the game and play it more of a very efficient farming game. Like, you have all the decisions to make, and EHOME can do nothing but just defend.
It's like, NP, they're going in. AUI starting things out. Spirit Breaker is probably dead.
Oh no, that's... Oh, so close, Gardner, so close.
I could look at your face and see the roller coaster of emotions there now. Envy just sitting safe up on this high ground, not going to be too scared of anything. That's Envy versus the world. The rest of the team is there right now. Abaddon does have a blink, so he can play the ambulance role. Just pop his ult, blink forward to his team, and start mitigating the damage. And Sylar, he's getting low. The Ancient is exposed, and Envy is going to hammer away at it. EHOME don't want to GG out. Of course, absolutely over, because again, this is their last life in this tournament. Sylar starting to man up, trying to focus the Chaotic Offering, doing some good work, but again, there's to be 1437 ult. Keeping Envy healthy. The throne, it's half health. It's going to be a third health, a quarter health, and it's going to be going down. The GG comes out. NP are going to make it to the main stage here at the Northern Arena Beat Invitational, something that I know a lot of the fans were